Peace, 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 peace. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Man, I ain't been live in a long time, but I gotta go live today to talk about this topic. I haven't really been doing live streams. I've just been posting videos, but I've been watching, from a distance, from the bushes, looking at, listening to the situation going on with Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony, and things is really coming to a head. With what's going on, B1, with Donald Trump coming into office, a lot of people is starting to feel real emboldened again in their behaviors. You're starting to see a lot of W supremacy starting to ramp up, and a lot of that thought process is coming back and into the minds of the people, right? A lot of times, people in this country say that, oh, it's not about race, it's not about race. But I often tell you guys that race is in the mental fabric of America. America was created and based on race. It's always going to be a racial situation when it comes to black and white issues, because there's never been a form of recompense. There's never been a system set in place to replace the old systems with system of justice. So whenever we have some differences, it always becomes racial, right? Salute to everybody coming in. Salute to my brother Dodge J. Salute to Deep View Media. Salute to B1 for Life. Salute to everybody coming in, right? And these are conversations that for my hardcore followers that was watching me when I was going live every day, on my channels, I was talking about this for years. Breaking this down about W supremacy and the W man and all of the things that we experience here in this country, right? And you guys have to pardon me. I'm just getting over Bell's palsy, so my face is still kind of crooked a little bit. I'm a lot better than what I was. I've been dealing with this for the last 3 months, and I guess I'm on the ending stages of it, right? But with this stuff that's going on now across America, it's prompted me to turn the computer on and come back and talk to my people, right? And what you guys are starting to see is the hypocrisy of America. I want you guys, before I share my screen, I want you guys to understand something. I'm hearing a lot of people say that Carmelo Anthony shouldn't have never had that knife. He should have never had the knife on school grounds, right? And when he had the knife, even if he was confronted, he should have never had used the knife. He should have put up his dukes and he should have fought like a man. That's what I hear a lot of people saying. I'm even hearing black folks say this. I'm even hearing black folks condemn this young man. But let me ask you a question, because I'm getting to my bishop move now. Knowing the history of this country and us as black people in this country, let's reverse the roles for a minute. And let's just say Austin Metcalf was in that tent full of young black teenagers, and he had a knife, and he was approached, and he used the knife. Will he be afforded the self-defense argument? How would the media portray him? See, because I want you guys to understand something. We have no win either way. And when I talk, I teach. So a 17-year-old black boy who's never been in trouble with the law before, a straight A student who was on the track team that day, on the roster to run, it started to rain, he's under a tent, he gets approached by some W boys, right? There's a slight confrontation, and then there's a jigging with the knife, and he takes off running, right? So he's looked at as black culture. All I'm hearing is black culture. Black culture did this. Look at the black, not the individual, but black culture. So what they showing us is when one person do something, we all get the blame, right? We all get the blame when one person. But when a W man does something, he was a lone wolf, right? So we're gonna walk this slow. So the media started showing his family, His father was a cancer survivor. He took his last breath in his brother's arms. They showed the brother, the mother crying. They showed all of these different things, right? But a question that I'm asking in this country is black people. When we saw the George Zimmerman situation, the police told George Zimmerman to leave that black boy alone and let the police get there. George Zimmerman told them no. George Zimmerman went and confronted the black boy. A scuffle ensued, and the black boy ended up unalived. George Zimmerman got off, and they said that he was fighting for his life, even when he was told by the police to restrain and stay away till the police come. He was acquitted and found not guilty. The Daniel Penny case, where there was a black man that always dresses as Michael Jackson on a New York City subway. He was threatening to harm people, but he was sick off his meds. He was grabbed and put in a chokehold by Daniel Penny. We saw a video of bystanders holding his arms and his feet. Once he was subdued, Daniel Penny could have took the foot off the gas a little bit. Daniel Penny could have took his foot off his throat and just held him till the police came. He chose to keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing till all the breath went out of that black man. He was acquitted. He said he was afraid for his life. He was acquitted. We saw Derek Chauvin take a 6'7" black man, handcuffed, laying on his stomach with his knee on his neck. The whole world saw it. The incident was so egregious that W Supremacy couldn't hide behind that because it became an international issue. And in that, they had to strike and do something about it. So he ultimately went to jail. But when Trump came into office, there's a lot of people saying that they should free Derek Chauvin. They tried to blame it on that black man being on all kinds of barbiturates and drugs. So the question that I'm asking, if we reverse it, and watch where I'm going with this, because I'm not speaking just for nothing. If we reverse this, and there's a W boy, and he has a knife on campus, but he felt like his life was in danger because there's a bunch of black boys in America who they consider dangerous. Because remember, we only 13% of the population, but we commit the most crimes. Young black men are dangerous. He has a knife on campus. He gets approached by a black boy. He uses the knife and he penetrates that knife into the chest cavity, into the heart of a 17-year-old black boy. What would W America say? What would the media be saying? Huh? What would the media be saying? We already know. What would the media be saying? So the question that I'm asking, for a lot of you out there, your Charleston Whites, your Brandon Tatums, your Jason Whitlocks, and all of you people out there, W folks don't need you to support them. They have the media and the machine. Then we get to this part of it. We live in America where we know that we experience racism on a daily basis on many different levels, right? The very people, I want y'all to listen to me and listen to me well. The very people that we say the systems are in place that are racist, we have to still go to those same people to get justice. So now Karmelo Anthony's family has to hire a lawyer and go into a courtroom in America and go to the same system that has historically been racist to us for justice. I want to ask a lot of you black conservatives something. I want to ask a lot of you black conservatives and a lot of you blacks out there. I want y'all to think about this. In America, because we've never, wait, let me frame this the right way. Because a lot of you like to use black people have hate in their heart. Black people don't know how to forgive. Black people don't know how to forget, right? Well, this is the question I have to you, Charleston, to you, Brandon Tatums, and all of you black folks out there, right? How come the onus is on us to forgive and forget when the system has never made any strides to make recompense or change? When we go into school today, they still teach Columbus discovered America. They're not teaching the contributions that Black Americans have made to this country so young children can see each other on an equal plane. They have never changed these things. They're still using movies and media to destroy our character and portray us in a certain light, knowing that we're supposed to have equal protection under the law. They have never changed these things, right? So when I'm standing in front of a judge, or I'm standing in front of a police officer or a doctor or anybody, who's to say that that person is not calling me the N-word under his breath because he has a preconceived notion of me? I have nothing on the books to protect me from them. I have nothing on the books to protect me. I know the LGBT community does. Certain things are a hate crime. Who's to say that when Austin went over to Karmelo, he wasn't doing it under auspices of hate? We have no way of knowing that because anybody can say anything to a black person. Anybody can do anything to a black person. And then y'all hang on the thing that, well, black on black crime, so that gives you justification to do what you do, where black on black crime is nothing but residue of white on black crime for decades, for centuries. Unresolved issues. And we can get to that in a later day. But the way that the black man and black women is viewed in this country, all W folks got to do is say, hey, we're not racist no more. And if I don't say, okay, I want to be your friend, then I'm the bad guy. If I don't want to be as forgiving, I'm the bad guy all of a sudden. Y'all peep the game that they running here? Y'all peep the play? If I don't want to be forgiven, if I want to hold you accountable, because they'll say, well, you wasn't here during slavery. You wasn't here during Jim Crow. So you don't get to be afforded the same thing as your ancestors, which is a lie, because they're the beneficiaries. And again, I have no way of knowing if these people see me as the N-word or something that's less than, because we've never repaired that part of the society that we live in. And the proof of it is when you look at this Carmelo Anthony situation and Eric Metcalf, the country went straight this way, divided. Where you have W folks on this side, black folks on this side, and the coons in the middle, and some of them over there with the W folks. That's what we have. But we have hundreds of stories of things that's happened to black folks at the hands of W folks, and it doesn't get media coverage. We got stories of young black boys lost and knocking on the door for help and getting shot through the door. We have all kinds of stories. Sean Bell, Yusef Hawkins. I can go on and on and on for years. All the way to the 50s with Reese Taylor, coming all the way up. We have so many stories. But before I share my screen, I want to let y'all know, I want to say something else to you. We have to understand that we don't have no friends. We don't have no friends. And I want you guys, when you guys talk FBA and say you FBA culture, FBA is a lifestyle, right? Hold on a second. One second. There we go. One second. Okay, when somebody was saying that Austin died from drug overdose, and I want to tell you, Carrie Scott, that's not true. The family, the PR team for the family, when I play this video, is going to say that that's not true. Those are rumors. So we want to keep this thing, but they have video. They have video of yes, they have video of the incident, right? And what we have to understand is we have to be on code. It's going to get real cold outside, man, even if it's warm. It's going to be a lot of cold stuff happening. And if we ain't on code, we in trouble, man. Because they are already drawing lines in the sand and letting you know where they stand. The question is, where do you stand? Where do you stand with your people? I'm not preaching hate. And I'm going to tell you something. if you guys out there think I'm preaching hate, well, I want y'all to look at me right now. What I'm about to say. Let me fix my face. I want y'all to look at me right now. If you guys are saying that I'm preaching hate, then I am the hate produced. I'm gonna say it again. If you guys say that George Macon is preaching hate, then I am the hate produced. So we have to look at what's producing this hate. Where does it come from? And we have to do surgery on that to eradicate that hate that's producing this hate that's permeating all through this country. Something that they don't want to deal with because they want to maintain power by all means and any means necessary. Right? So they had a family member that was speaking up on behalf of the family. And he came and he cleared up a lot of things because he was saying that down there in Frisco, the family was receiving death threats. The family can't go out of their homes. They was putting a lot of false stuff online in regards to the family. There's a lot of things that's going on in this case because, like I said, as black people, you are supposed to stay in your place. You're allowed to harm each other, but you better not ever put your hands on us. We're going to use our media to decimate you. We're going to use our media to destroy your character. We're going to use our media to make you even turn on each other. But I want to share my screen, right? We got about 50 people in the room. Make sure you guys supporting the foundation, Urban Nerds Worldwide. Make sure you guys are supporting. The Cash App is there, pinned to the top. We have the GoFundMe. We also got the PayPal up there. Y'all can support our nonprofit. Springtime coming up, man. We got a lot of trips, college tours for our youth. But let me share the screen. Let's get off into this, man.
All righty, we're good. All righty. So, real quick, I want to start off by saying, real quick, that my comments are represented today by the Next Generation Action Network that have been working with the Anthony family from the advocacy standpoint. I'm not the Anthony family attorney. Of course, you know the Next Generation Action Network is no stranger to this line of work. And we have been representing families for the last 10 years from an advocacy standpoint to get to the bottom of this situation. The Next Generation Action Network, since the last past week, have gotten thousands of calls regarding this situation and making sure that our organization was involved in this situation because of the growing tension of racism and bigotry involving with the case. I want to start off by saying that I appreciate the Deputy Chief, John Stretch, from being able to come here to meet with us, as well as the Assistant Police Chief, Darren Stevens. These are two individuals who are currently over the investigation that is currently going on in Frisco ISD. Of course, let's start off in the proper way. I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as president and founder of the Next Generation Action Network, the largest human and civil rights organization in North Texas. Today, we had a meeting with the leadership of the Frisco Police Department to discuss the matter of urgency in escalating racial threats and bigotry and online hate directed at the Anthony family. Let me be clear. The Anthony family cannot leave their home because of the growing threats towards their safety. Their personal address has been exposed. They have received graphic and racist threats. They are being targeted with violence and simply because their child is in the center of this tragedy. We are here just for justice. This justice must be fair and impartial and protected from biases. We cannot allow racism and bigotry to divide us. We cannot allow white America to decide when and how Black people can speak up against oppression. We do not pull the race card.
Now, I want y'all to understand something. This brother's from the National Action Network. And if you notice something, you guys, in order for us to get justice, we have to have an international outcry still in 2025 in order for us to get justice. When it's something happened to them, it's swift justice. We watched Kyle Rittenhouse carry an assault rifle through different jurisdictions, unalive two people, paralyze a Black person, and they told him he was acting in self-defense. And he got off. We saw Kyle Rittenhouse got off. We saw it. The whole world saw it. He got off, right? But when it comes to us, and I want you Black conservatives, we have to have a national outcry when things go, when it's a situation with us, all the way to the day. All the executive orders that's been put on the books to protect Black folks, to this day, we still have to have a national outcry. We don't have, so when Donald Trump says that he want to push things from federal back to the state, this is a problem for us. So now we have to have press conferences, right? To go out and protect us from this kind of stuff, right?
We live it. Yes, this case is a tragedy. Anytime a child is lost, we mourn as a community. Our heart goes out to the family of Austin Metcalf, but we do not erase the right of the Anthony family to be protected and heard and treated with dignity. That's why today we spoke with the Frisco Police Department leadership to demand answers. We need to know what steps are being taken to protect the Anthony family, the strategies of the threats that's being spreaded, and how Frisco Police is ensuring that Karmelo Anthony's Sixth Amendment right, fair and public trial, is fully respected. Let's make it clear that absolutely we have the full permission and trust of the Anthony family and authorized for the Next Generation Action Network to speak today. Today in this meeting, we talked about and was able to give them graphic images of what this family has had to deal with for the last couple of days. It is sad.
Let me say this real quick. I'm gonna pause it. I want to say this. This is important. I want you, my Black folks, to understand, because online we have we have a Pookie and Ray Ray thing, right? Where a lot of things happen. They like to hide behind Black on Black crime and all these different things. Well, I want you guys to understand something, that this is not Pookie and Ray Ray. These are upstanding, law-abiding Black citizens, affluent, well-to-do, mother and dad Black people. But what you notice is the media didn't handle it that way. As we get off into the story, there's a lot of positive things that went on with this young Black boy that they chose not to cover. This was not a thug, Jason Whitlock. This was not a gangbanger. He wasn't with his crew. He didn't stab him multiple times. No. It's an incident of two 17-year-olds or something that went down. But a lot of people, there's more decent Black people than thugs, right? I live in the city of Philadelphia, one of the blackest cities in America. There's way more decent Black people here than there are killers. Black people get up and go to work every day. Black people come home and take care of their families every day. There's more decent Black people and decent stuff going on in a Black city like Philadelphia than it is crime. It's just that that's just what y'all choose to promote. So these are decent, upstanding, law-abiding citizens. But you notice the way that they portray us. We're all the same, right? Let's listen to some more.
These graphic images not only display children with knives, Black children with knives stuck in their head, the Anthony family's address. We saw when this case first started that people were putting online that when Section 8 was accepted into the Frisco neighborhood, that became the lead of the downfall of Frisco. We have saw so many different hateful images, just hateful things. And the Next Generation Action Network wants to reiterate that Karmelo Anthony has a right to a fair trial, unbiased, and removed of racial hate and bigotry. I want to make it very clear. And I say this from my heart and my own personal reference. If someone wants to say race is not in this situation and shouldn't be, well, I asked all of those people to join me in calling it out. But don't look at Black people and say, don't always play the race card. We don't play the race card, we live it. We live a reality. We also feel that the bond that Karmelo Anthony is on is too high. We do. Because guess what? We've been here when Aaron Dean was arrested. We was here when Amber Geiger was arrested. $200,000. The system, it has a problem in it. Now, what I want to be able to do is ensure, and what we was able to hear today from the Frisco Police Department is reensuring that the Frisco Police Department is doing everything that it can to address the racism and the bigotry. We have saw the police chief, a statement being sent out by the police chief that was false. We have saw a false autopsy report that was false. We have to caution the community to say, hey, we cannot trust everything that is online. The disinformation that is going online is hurting this case, and it has to stop. It has to stop, y'all. As we know it right now, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony did not know each other. They did not know each other. Let's stop it.
I want y'all to understand something. The family hired a PR team, and they're right now dispelling all the myths. Because what you have going on, and I want y'all to listen to me. What you have going on right now is the right. You know, they're espousing their racist rhetoric as usual. But then you have the left, the people that don't look like us. They're putting out a lot of false stuff to try to justify why Karmelo would do it. But these are not us doing it. So what my brother is doing is dispelling those myths, because these things could hurt Karmelo going into the courtroom. So he's letting them know, no, they didn't know each other, right? They may have known of each other because in the racing, but they weren't friends. They didn't know each other. They dispelling certain myths, right? And he wants to get out in front of that and explain, like, yo, listen, don't listen to a lot of stuff that you're seeing online. So I was doing my digging and doing my due diligence before I came live, so that way I can come and get the people the right information. So let's listen to let's get it back.
They were not at a party together. Let's stop the lies regarding this situation. We also know that both Austin Metcalf, the twin brothers, were on the roster that day to be at that track meet. We also know that Karmelo Anthony was on the roster that day to be at that track meet. We know they both arrived, all of them arrived to this facility via the transportation of Frisco ISD. The lies has to stop, y'all. As far as the legal strategy, I'm not talking about that today because that's not my place. I'm not the lawyer. I think you guys have all had a statement in regards that the lawyers have ask for a bond reduction, and they will release that in the way. We are solely here because where racism and bigotry and hate arises, the Next Generation Action Network will be there and will respond to that hate. We will not allow our communities to go under attack. We know that when people see a white and a black man in an unfortunate situation happen, that race always become a factor in that situation. And it's really because people don't want to really have a conversation about racial reconciliation in this country. And the current climate that we live in, where racism and bigotry is at the forefront, we don't really want to have these conversations. And social media has been a stomping ground for people to be able to launch any disparity that they want to. And so, our heart goes out to all who are involved. The Next Generation Action Network continues to restate that we are here to support this situation based on what we have seen. We want to continue to express Mr. Karmelo Anthony's grounds of where he has displayed self-defense. I think that in the next coming days, as you see the things going out in the courtroom, it will be displayed. But today's meeting was solely about the threats that have been going towards their home and ensuring that there is a fair and impartial investigation going on. And I want the public to know that our organization, along with attorneys, are doing everything they can to make sure that race is not a factor in this case, ensuring and supporting like we've always done. And so I really appreciate the police chief coming to meet with us today to answer all of those questions that we have had. And so at this time, I'll just open it up for questions.
Dominique, what exactly did you ask police to do, and what exactly did they tell you they would do, and is it enough?
Okay, break that down. Just give me that again.
What exactly did you ask Frisco Police in your meeting today to do about these allegations of racism leveled against this family? What did you ask police to do about it? What did they say they were going to do about it? And is it enough?
What I've asked them to do is put an additional presence out there with this family around their home. They have ensured that they have had levels of communication, but for the family, it has been hard for them to know and trust everything because of all of the disinformation. And it made it hard for a lot of people to even trust law enforcement in this situation because of what was going on. It was one moment that we thought that the police chief made a statement regarding the case. Then we find out that's a lie, right? The family saw an autopsy report, you know what I mean? Now, at the end of the day, because of my experience and growing up in the funeral home industry, I know that it's impossible to have an autopsy report, you know what I mean, something like that to be released in the matter of 2 days, right? So we was able to dispel that really quick, right? You know what I mean? And we knew that that was never going to be the avenue that the Collin County Medical Examiner would release that information, right? And so it made it very hard. So what we've asked them to do is increase their presence.
Check that out.
We've asked them for a direct contact for the family to be able to send them the information that is when they're getting it, you know, that they have a point of contact to be able to do this.
I want y'all to see that because there's some stuff going on online where they're saying that Austin Metcalf was on drugs. And again, no, there's no toxicology report or nothing come back this fast. It doesn't come back this fast. So that again is not true. That he may have been, but we can't prove that. So I'm telling my people out there, when you guys say that or put that stuff out there, you're actually hurting the case. Don't do that. Don't do that. So this is what this brother's up here to do for speaking on behalf, with permission to speak on behalf of Karmelo Anthony's family. He's saying like, yo, listen, don't do that. Don't put that stuff out there. So those are rumors that are not real, right? So like people are putting a lot of false narratives out there, and that's not helping Karmelo. But I want y'all to understand something. A lot of that is coming from not us. It's coming from people on the left. But they doing it, you know, they like to run, they like to play, the left and the right like to play with each other and argue amongst each other, because this is how they get their money allocated to their nonprofits and their programs. So they're going to do all that kind of stuff, but who hangs in the balance is us. I need y'all to understand something. During COVID, when the cities were shutting down and they was rioting all across America, and they had was it Antifa, and all these groups would come, these W folks would come out of nowhere and crowd the cities after COVID. In 2000, the next year they was all not to be heard from. You didn't see them anymore, because by that time they got millions of dollars allocated to their nonprofits, and they left and abandoned the cities, right? So now whenever something like this happened, they come and they espouse all kinds of rhetoric. Listen to me, y'all, right? Y'all know I work with city council. I work with the district attorney's office here in Philadelphia with my program to help inner city youth. So I'm sitting in these rooms. I'm telling y'all how this go. They come out when these things happen. They come out, right? They put a lot of false narratives out to draw the both sides arguing amongst each other, and then they get a lot of money allocated to their nonprofits. So he has to come out now and run interference on that stuff, because what they do is, they have a lot of ghost sites, and they put a lot of stuff up, man, that don't make sense. Right. So now there's no way for us to determine that man was on drugs yet. So you can't put that out. But this is the stuff that they do. And they was doing this during COVID. So if you look at places like Philly, New York, Cleveland, all these cities that was rioting in the streets, and you had these Antifa groups and the BLM and all these different groups was coming, the next year the murder rate skyrocketed. 2021, all across America. None of those groups was on the ground. Urban Nerds was on the ground. None of those groups was on the ground because they got millions of dollars allocated to them. Let's play some more. But I approve it. I'm gonna prove my point, because I prove all things when I open my mouth to speak.
Their home address has been shared. You know what I mean? The hate. There's a lot of stuff that people are saying regarding their son that are false. You know what I mean? You would think, based on what is online, you would think that Karmelo Anthony is a person who is like, a hooligan, or somebody that doesn't have a home or structure or foundation, or all of these different types of things. There's been a whole bunch of lies, like Karmelo Anthony was put out of his home days before. Just stupidity. They are all false and lies. And so, you know what I mean? It's just some of those things that the family knows, and things that were expressed. Like, the family knows they got to the bus to do that because Karmelo Anthony's car was at his school. You know what I mean? So it's these type of lies that is being expressed on social media that's making it hard for a lot of the family to even trust. So that's the reason why we had this meeting, to be able to answer any questions.
And just real quick though, so what did police say that they were actually going to do? Are they going to increase
yes.
protection?
Yes. They accepted that. They did.
And you said in the initial letter to the city that you raised serious questions about their thoroughness and fairness of the investigation, saying that you guys have spoken to coaches and other people that witnessed it and that they didn't follow up with them. Were you able to have that conversation with the assistant chief and resolve that?
I was able to have that question, and we were able to give those individual names up, because the Next Generation Action Network do not want to interfere in the investigation. We're not going to release who they are. But we were able to have that conversation today. You know what I mean? That's what prompted them to even be able to come and question. And we were able to give those individuals.
You raised serious questions about their thoroughness and fairness of the investigation, saying that you guys have spoken to coaches and other people that witnessed it and that they didn't follow up with them. Were you able to have that conversation with the assistant chief and resolve that?
I was able to have that question, and we were able to give those individual names up because the Next Generation Action Network do not want to interfere in the investigation.
So what you had was what they're saying is you had teachers, lawyers, all kinds of professional W folks going out there spouting rhetoric, right? Now, I want to show y'all something real fast because I want to prove my point, because I want y'all to understand how crafty this crafty council in the house, and I want y'all to understand how they operate. And brothers and sisters been on the front line exposing this kind of stuff for years. So even people on the left, a lot of them ain't our friends, right? They operate for their own personal gain. I want y'all to check this out, right? This was me during COVID, right? When COVID hit, right? We're gonna go right back to the other video, but I want y'all to see something, right?
Yeah. If black policy don't matter, then black lives ain't shit.
Hold on. Let it not spin. We got the spinning stuff going on. Oh, look how they playing. They don't want y'all to see this. Wow, look at this. All of a sudden, the computer's spinning.
Happened to us on this land, and we are not a protected class.
Look.
And the black lives might as well go home.
All facts.
It don't matter. It don't matter. If black policy don't matter, then black lives don't matter. We've been saying black lives matter since the time of Medgar Evers.
Look how it's playing. Look at what they doing. Look at this here. Look at here. Y'all see this?
Killed Dr. King's brother in 1969. We've been screaming black.
Now, I was out there. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm showing this video. This is during the time we had all those groups that was out there. And they all act like that they was on the front line for our people. So I went out there and checked them, right? I went out there and checked them because I knew the play that they was running. Like I told you, I'll be in the city council meetings. I know what they're doing. So at that time, they had millions of dollars to be allocated to the black community for this stuff, right? And I knew that these nonprofits and these Antifa groups, they all came out there and act like they cared about what was going on in the ghetto with our people, right? And our people were starting to fall for it. So when I was out there talking in my bishop mode, I wasn't talking to them W folks. I was talking to my people that was being bamboozled because you believe that these people cared. You really thought that they cared. Look, if this thing can stop spinning.
Lives matter. And it went on deaf ears to white America. We watched Medgar Evers get killed. Nobody said nothing. Black policy must matter. I want to hear white people screaming black policy matter. If black policy don't matter, go the fuck home. Because we're going to be here tomorrow. That policy has to be pushed. Policies have to be pushed. If policies ain't pushed, then it's all for nothing.
So I just wanted just to show y'all that part so I can give y'all emphasis. When we be out here, we don't just be running our mouth and just be talking, right? We were out there because they messing with it. They messing with the bandwidth for some reason. They don't, but they know they're right now they're watching and they know that I'm explaining this to y'all how it works. So when you see these groups come out, so now what's happening is you're seeing a lot of these groups, they're coming out, right? To act like they really care about Karmelo Anthony. But they wait for this kind of stuff to happen so they can get resources allocated to their programs. They don't care nothing about us. I'm telling y'all. Please listen to me. So when you think that now, not all of them, because you do have some people that may not look like us that do care, that do have systems in place to help you. I'm gonna be fair, because I have people that help me, right? We get our college tours. Some of it come from white folks, some of it come from Indian people. So there are people that do care, but there's a lot of people that prey on our community. They prey on our community, and they know that when these things happen. Let me see. I want to see if I can get it. If I can get it to work right. Let me go out of it and come back real quick because I want y'all to. I want to put emphasis on. Hold on a second. Oh man. There we go. I want to put emphasis on, for some reason this thing is acting crazy, but I want to put it back up because I want y'all to understand, so that way when I'm showing this, I want y'all to understand where I'm coming, so where y'all can see it. All right, here we go.
Stop being afraid to ask uncomfortable questions. It's your sons that's dying every day out here in the streets.
She's saying
because of economic policies
that you're talking about.
Well, that's coming upon white people to take this charge to other white people. We didn't create this racism. White people got to
see. Y'all see how they messing with it? Now I want y'all to look into the crowd.
White people got to say something.
In this crowd, I'm around about 5,000 groups, and all of them got their signs, and they all got their programs, right? And I'm down there, and sprinkled inside the crowd is black people. And I'm talking to them, letting them know, because I'm telling you, they're not there for nothing. There's programs in place for the community, and they're there to get the money.
It's not us. It's your sons that's dying every day. Right. See, it's not the act that he put his knee on that man's neck. It's the mentality. Because a black life don't matter. A black man's life never matter in this country. Never. They put up.
All right, so hold on.
Fathers in jail in the drug trade. 160 years, while white people was admitted bringing that stuff into our communities. If there's so much racism, how can a black man go into those countries and get drugs when everybody hate a black man? Everybody.
Let's fast forward something. We're gonna go right back to the story, but I just want y'all to understand that when people are here talking, a lot of us ain't just keyboards. We outside. We outside, and like I said, they messing with it, right? So when I come to talk to y'all, look what they doing to the video. You notice how the other video worked perfect? All of a sudden, this one don't. Why? Because the algorithm and the people, they know who the ones putting in the work. So we're gonna leave it alone. We're gonna move over. We're gonna go back to the video because obviously they don't want you guys.
Tell me you sorry, not just believe it. Because you tell me you're sorry, call me nigga next week.
So let's pause it. Let's go back because they don't want it to work. Now watch this. Watch this, y'all.
We're not gonna release who they are, but we were able to have that conversation today. You know what I mean? That's what prompted them to even be able to come in. And also, we not only talked about people who were speaking out like that had information regarding the case, we also reported people in official capacities, like people who are teachers, government officials, that have used their own personal social media to placate in the hate and the false narratives that are coming out against Karmelo Anthony. And we were able to report that information to them regarding it.
Do you stand by that though, that did they acknowledge that some witnesses have not been contacted by police, or were you
to be exact, Frisco Police Department was able to tell me that they have interviewed over 75 people, and it's ongoing. But they did acknowledge that there are people who have not been interviewed in regards to this case. They are aware of that. That wasn't, you know what I mean, like based on the information that we were getting, it was very hard for us to be able to, see what this investigation was going and how it was being together, because we didn't know what to trust. But we had to make sure that we get involved in this situation early so that we can ensure that this investigation is fair and unbiased.
Do you feel better after having this meeting that it will be a thorough and fair investigation?
I think the jury is still out. I think that, they were able to come to me and be very sincere about it. I feel comfortable right now, but we have to see, right? They did answer my questions. And so that's, for now, I can only see what they do from here on out, in protecting this family, in making sure that this investigation is going right, and pushing forward.
Do you plan to have a meeting with Anthony's family
Do I?
after this meeting? Do you plan
Yes, I will have a discussion with them, with their family attorney too as well.
I assume you're going to be releasing some of these images or proof, or I don't know if the family's house has been targeted.
Yeah.
Are you going to be releasing anything to the media to support what you guys are saying?
Yeah, I can release you social media posts that have been pushed out of their home. Yes.
Okay, with the 75 people they say they interviewed, did they say anything about video was?
Yes,
recorded?
they have collected video.
So it is video of the incident?
Yes, they have collected video.
Okay.
There is video of the actual stabbing?
There is video, there are several different video that they verified.
Did the Anthony family obtain their attorneys through NextGen, or did they obtain them independently?
The initial attorneys were obtained through our advocacy. Yes, correct. Of course, you know that one of the attorneys, Kim T. Cole, is the general counsel of our organization. And I believe they are adding more people to, when we got the case, it's about ensuring that the families have representation. We know that over the weekend, the courts, which is normal protocol, appointed an attorney. That is done by, I want people to know that's done by the courts. That's not done by the family. The gentleman that, and there's nothing he did wrong, the gentleman that presented himself as the attorney, at that time when he made those statements, he were the attorney of record until Monday morning, when the new attorneys was able to notify the courts that they were the attorneys of record, hired and retained.
Hey, real quick, in the chat, the informant media, is that my brother from Oakland? The informant media, is that you, my brother from Oakland? Let me know in the just let me know in the chat if that's you or not. Is that my brother from Oakland, informant media?
By Mr. Karmelo Anthony. That's when they go. And I know there was a lot of confusion as to who did the family hire and all those different types of things. And so for now, y'all, that's an ongoing process.
So what do we know that has been debunked as far as like the cell phone getting broke? Do we know that? Do we know about?
I didn't ask about pretty much cell phone. What I can tell you is on the surface of being debunked is the fact that they did not know each other. There wasn't no, and I want to say this because there is a particular.
Remember, this is a press conference where it's being ran by the news, because remember, they were only given media to the W family. They wasn't running this with us. So this brother here is speaking on behalf of the family, and he spoke directly with the family, and he got permission from the family. So a lot of other people, no, they're frauds. This is direct information that I'm giving back to you guys that was on the news where the brother did the press conference. So he's speaking, he has permission to speak on behalf of the family. So this is what we're running, not just like the news clips or whatever.
Particular blogger that's getting a lot of views, and it's very detrimental the audience that they're getting, right? And that's the only reason why I justify in saying this on this press conference, because of the type of information that Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony had a fight the day before or a week before, or at this point there's nobody.
And they both were on the roster.
There's nothing at this time that support that they knew each other. Okay, you know what I mean? They are both athletes in the same school district. Of course, they probably know of each other, but they do not know each other, right? And so that's a lie. Like the pictures and I believe there was a picture that went on social media saying that this is Austin Metcalf and Karmelo, and that is a lie. So that's a false narrative. Anything else?
What do you say to people that view these social media posts before they hit share or send it to all their friends and such?
I ask that people, if you're really trying to help, I ask that y'all continue to support this family. I know that the community has overwhelmingly support this family in the tragedy that has happened in this situation. But I ask that people, when they're sharing information, please verify the source of the information that you are sharing. Because if you're trying to help Karmelo, sharing false narratives is not helping. This situation is too delicate to be spreading false information. There are a lot of different things, people taking screenshots, and it's looking in the day and age that we have with artificial intelligence. Someone can take this sheet of paper and recreate it with our letterhead, with anybody's statement, and put it out. And that's very detrimental. So we've asked continuously, if you are posting something on social media, please verify your statement. I just want to say this, if there's no other questions, is there any other questions? No questions?
Dominique, I have two
Yes,
other questions. And these are more clarifying questions. You mentioned that the attorneys that have been retained were through the advocacy organization. Can you talk a little bit more about what your relationship has been thus far with the Anthony family? And then the second question, can you speak to kind of your stance on the investigation at this point? I think the letter that was initially sent suggested that the investigation, as you saw it, was insufficient. I'm wondering if you still maintain that. You talked a little bit about that earlier, but just want to make sure I understand what the stance is.
So, like many people know, the Next Generation Action Network was founded in 2014. And after a situation happened like this and our organization gets involved with the case, there is protocol to be able to get them a proper representation, because our organization is an advocacy, a human and civil rights organization. So we cannot give a family legal advice, right? So there are appropriate protocols and people who are brought in to be able to do that. And of course, that's the family's decision to, go with that or whatever. And we just give them the options that they need to be able to make sure that their rights are protected, right? Like I said with her question, the jury is still out in regards to the investigation. And now they did give me a lot of clarity about some of the falsehoods that I didn't know wasn't true until I asked them, because there were so many different letters and so many different stuff that was going out on social media. I needed to hear them say the letter that was supposed to be put out by the police chief was false, right? And so, because I couldn't trust whether that was true, because of how much hiding. I do share their concern that this case is like none other. I just feel like we're at that beacon of where we are in social media and artificial intelligence, where people can just do anything and just run rapid. I have saw platforms be used in this case that I never even knew existed, right? And so with that being said, that's pretty much it in regards to the investigation. I hope that I can see some in the coming days. I also told them, hey, if bullying, racism, and bigotry exist in this investigation, it's the responsibility of the police department to address this in their community. And so hopefully in the next coming days, we will see this. I know they have a job to do an investigation, and I don't want to impede in anything or speak in the legal matter for the Anthony family or in the legal matter of anybody in this situation, right? Our sole job today is from an advocacy standpoint in making sure.
Hey, Psycho, you gotta make sure you cover this. You gotta do this on your channel, Psycho, so people can see it when you run it. This on Fox 4. You gotta make sure, because this is like the closest accuracy that we're gonna get, because this is the guy speaking. Because the family hired a PR team and they haven't made any statements. The father made the one statement in the New York Post, but they haven't said anything else after that. So he's speaking on behalf of the family. Anybody else saying stuff is a lie. So that's why I'm running this, because we get a lot of reports, and he's dispelling all the myths and all the stuff that's going out there. That's why we running this. So when you get a chance, like, we'll run this on your channel too.
That we give voice to the community. I'll end with this. And yes.
Why did this young man have a gun? Excuse me. Why did this young man have a knife on him to begin with?
I cannot speak to that. I cannot speak to that in regards to that. I can't speak to that because I believe that, first of all, even if I had the answer to that or whatever, I wouldn't say it because that's a part of his defense. And I think there's going to be an appropriate time where they're going to speak to what was going on. What I can do is reiterate that Karmelo Anthony from the beginning has continued to display his self-defense claim. And I believe that in America, I always tell this, and I'm just going to speak truth to power in this situation. It is crazy that America tells us to accept the self-defense claim of George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, and so many other people. But when the shoe is on the other foot, that claim is absurd. And I just got to call a spade a spade. No matter what my personal views of a case may be, it is quite contradicting for America to come back and say, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse can have it. George Zimmerman can have it. All of these individuals that don't look like the color of my skin can't have it. In the state of Texas, we live in a state where yet you can walk around with a permitless carry. You can walk around with a brass knuckles. You can walk around with a knife. You can walk around with all these things. AK-47 in the state of Texas. And then as soon as you see a black person exercise those rights, we now have a problem. And
I need to hear that again.
Have it. That's that. And I'm just going to speak truth to power in this situation. It is crazy that America tells us to accept the self-defense claim of George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, and so many other people. But when the shoe is on the other foot, that claim is absurd. And I just got to call a spade a spade. No matter what my personal views of a case may be, it is quite contradicting for America to come back and say, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse can have it. George Zimmerman can have it. All of these individuals that don't look like the color of my skin can't have it. In the state of Texas, we live in a state where yet you can walk around with a permitless carry. You can walk around with a brass knuckles. You can walk around with a knife. You can walk around with all these things. AK-47 in the state of Texas. And then as soon as you see a black person exercise those rights, we now have a problem. And that's not me spitting hate or race or bigotry. That's the facts. And like I put a statement, what we're not going to do after 400 years of oppression of black people in America is yet justify ourselves every time a situation comes up with one of our children. We want them to have those same rights that everybody else. We want him to have his same day in court as Kyle Rittenhouse. We want him to have his same day in court like anybody else. And he will have that. And he will put up the proper defense. And all of these questions will be answered. But the unfairness in this case is gross. And I think that the people in the community understands that. And that's where some of this pushback is coming from, because there's gross negligence in regards to in huge biases. And that's the reason why the Next Generation Action Network has to get involved with it in the beginning, because we are afforded these rights.
How do you feel like the way the media portrayed at the very beginning when this first came out?
I'll say this. Anybody that is putting
Hold
stuff
on.
out here in this case, and this is the reason why the Next Generation Action Network, until that letter that we sent, stayed silent over the weekend while we investigated this case, because we knew that we had a responsibility to ensure that we put out the facts, truth, and that we knew exactly what we are talking about. And I just say this, the media has a responsibility to ensure when you are putting things out on your platform that you are not feeding into some of the racial divides and some of the biases in regards to this case, right? I can't go into the nuances of it or whatever and stuff like that, but I'll just end with this. In an interview that I know that any prosecutor that got a hold of this case wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news.
He grabbed him.
And it is clear. It is clear. In his own words, he stated that Karmelo Anthony said, "Don't put your hands on me." That's it. That's all we hear. Certain things were loosely said. There was certain things that was loosely said in that interview that I just point people to. I don't want to ignite things or try to, speak for his legal defense or whatever it may be, but he stated, y'all, and the hate that was given regarding this case, the bias, that's what has us here today. He should be afforded the same rights that anybody that displays that self-defense claim. He should have the right to do those things and say those things. And someone getting mad that he say that, and that's what we're saying it. I didn't see you saying that when Cal hit Rittenhouse. And to say that's not the same is absurd. Self-defense was the claim. And all we're doing is asking people to respect this. We know that there is an unfortunate situation. There is a family that has to prepare for a funeral. There is a family. In the next coming days, I hope that the investigation uncovers some of the truth around this case. And that's why we will fully cooperate with making sure that this investigation is done proper. And we ask that people pray for these families and support and do the things that's necessary needed to ensure that we create a real just society. And if anybody got a problem with what I said today, if anybody who continues to say that race is not a factor, if anybody who continues to say all of these insinuating things that I saw on social media, then you might look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're the problem. You're the reason why we cannot get anywhere when it comes to race. And when we saw this case come out, there were so much rush to judgment and so many things that had to be corrected that we ended up finding wasn't true. It was a huge tagline that was said that Austin Metcalf died in the hands of his brother. And it was false. And we have to be very careful when we report things. We have to be careful when we report things and put things out, because we live in a day and age where social media runs rapid. And so the next step for the Next Generation Action Network is that we will continue to work with this family to ensure that their rights are protected. We will continue to work with their attorneys to support this self-defense claim. And my thing is this: our decision to stand in solidarity with the Anthony family, if you don't like it, then God bless you. But if we call ourselves a human and civil rights organization, we believe wholeheartedly that Karmelo Anthony reserves the right to be able to be afforded the same treatment that any of his white counterparts are given in a.
Now, I'm gonna try to go back real quick, right? Now, again, I want to put emphasis. Forget me. I want y'all to look at the crowd. Let's see if it play. Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd.
Santa Claus is white. Jesus is white. Power comes from money. We need unification and power. Black families united. Black men, black women together in a climate that's anti-black family. You don't have to be afraid of being black. You want to be everything but black. You want to Becky. You want to get with Huck. You want to get with Tom because now you can move up in the world. Fuck all of that. Get with a black family and build black families and strong black communities. Everybody in this country is race first, but black people. Race first don't mean that you hate anybody. Race first just means you care about your people. That don't mean that you hate white people. There's nothing wrong with being pro-black. Ida B. Wells was pro-black. Mary Bethune-McLeod was pro-black. Paul Robeson was pro-black. Benjamin Hooks was pro-black. They all was pro-black. Do you understand our inventions? We invented cortisone.
I want y'all to see the reason why I'm showing this video. I want y'all to understand something. When I was out there that day, this was during COVID, and this was during the time when Antifa and all those groups was coming into the cities. So all of those W folks that you see out there, they got their signs. And there was millions of dollars being allocated to these nonprofits and these special interest groups. And a lot of our people, we're not up to speed on this stuff. So now when this kind of, the reason why I'm showing this, when this kind of stuff happens, right? They prey on our community because now there's going to be money allocated for the racial divide. There's all kinds of money that they have to go in, and these people, they go in and they create programs, right, for us to be able to cope with things, right, mentally cope, race relations. They have forums on college campuses. They have all this. I've been at all these places, right? So now look into, as I'm talking, I'm laying it down. But I'm talking to the black people that's in the group because I know that my people don't understand the way that they're being manipulated. They don't know why these people are there.
Oh, we invented the first gigahertz chip. It's a black man that owned the 3 patents and the 9 patents of IBM. We invented damn everything that moved the 21st century. From the traffic light to the damn transmissions in cars. That come from us. The fucking golf tee. Anything you can think of. The propellers in boats. Black people created that shit. We created this stuff, but they never told us our history, and we never got our just due for our adventures because we were still property. And so if you ain't fighting for proper representation of us and our economics, you ain't my ally. I know my history. We invented the GPS system. We invented the first home alarm system. Damn, everything they use came from us. Us. We never got our just due. We never would have needed reparations. And we made it. We made it at the time when we was being harmed. They wouldn't even let us in the universities. Y'all better wake up, man. They talk about liver cancer. Dr. Leonidas, a black man discovered aneurysms. Black doctor. Black doctor. You black boys need a frame of reference of your greatness. Nigger culture is not black culture. Nigger culture is not black culture. You know who the first niggas was in this country? White people. They was the ones doing drive-bys. They was the ones hanging people. They was the ones putting people on plantations. It wasn't us. They told you was a goddamn nigga and put you in prison for the same shit they did to us. And made it a multi-billion-dollar industry. The same shit they did to us. They did to us. They put us in prison for it.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. What makes white America psychologically fit to govern black people? Have they ever been psychologically evaluated? How do they get to be our doctors, our judges? They just come and say, hey, I'm sorry for what we did to you. They're not gonna judge you. You can't breed racism. Racism is American culture. It was built off of America. You can't breed it out. You gotta punish them severely.
I'm gonna pause it there, but I wanted y'all, the reason why I showed that, because I wanted you guys to be able to see the games that they play. And we have to understand what we're up against, right? We have to understand what we're up against, and we have to be able to teach our people. We have to be able to teach our people, because they're going to come in. They're going to come in now because they know that there's going to be money allocated, so they're going to come in, right? But I want y'all to see this, right? I want to go to my a brother's channel, man. I'm Rockstar, right? And I want y'all to see what he was promoting about this young man, right? This young man saved a person's life when he was 14 years old. Let's
for terrorizing people. So I said, wait, let me find something great that Karmelo Anthony did for his people. Check this out. And shout out to Rayon Carter. She said, my heart is shattered. I kept saying the young man looks like the Karmelo who saved Gino's life, which is her son. From the looks of the article, and it's him. And we forever gonna stand with you. May 15, 2021, a day I'll never forget. Really great kid. I can't stand bullies. So I said, wait, did Karmelo Anthony save a kid's life? Check this out. And if you think I'm lying, here's the article.
Now I want y'all to understand something. That black man that's on a PR team, he came up there and he dispelled all of the myths. He never mentioned this. That's why I'm showing it. He dispelled all of the lies. He dispelled all of the myths, right? But this is what Fox 4 ain't showing. How about they show this as a character reference for that black boy?
The water was cloudy and the pool divided into indoor.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
The water was cloudy and the pool divided into indoor and outdoor sections. Unable to find Gino, Carter asked Karmelo Anthony, 14 of Baton Rouge, to check in a blind spot. He came back from out of the water with my son in his arms, Carter said. Gino, whose lungs had collapsed, was admitted to the intensive care unit and placed on a ventilator. By the following Wednesday, he was off the vent and starting physical therapy. He recovered quickly and is now back home. Turner called Anthony the real hero for rescuing Gino. And look, I'm going to put the article back up, but I didn't know he was from Louisiana. See, it all makes sense. From Louisiana, we're not letting anyone bully us. We go stand on business. So it all makes sense. And see, they won't.
Well, let's go back to
the young man looks like the Karmelo who saved Gino's life.
So he saves this young man's life that was drowning in the pool when he was 14 years old. He saved this boy,
which is her son. From the looks of the article, and it's him. And we forever gonna stand with you. May 15, 2021, a day I'll never forget. Really great kid. I can't stand bullies. So I said, wait, did Karmelo Anthony save a kid's life? Check this out. And if you think I'm lying, here's the article. The water was cloudy and the pool divided into indoor and outdoor sections. Unable to find Gino, Carter asked Karmelo Anthony, 14 of Baton Rouge, to check in a blind spot. He came back from out of the water with my son in his arms, Carter said. Gino, whose lungs had collapsed, was admitted to the intensive care unit and placed on a ventilator. By the following Wednesday, he was off the vent and starting physical therapy. He recovered quickly and is now back home. Turner called Anthony the real hero for rescuing Gino. And look, I'm going to put the article back up, but I didn't know he was from Louisiana. See, it all makes sense. From Louisiana, we're not letting anyone bully us. We go stand on business. So it all makes sense. And see, they won't show you this article. They won't show you that he saved a life at 14 years old, not even thinking twice, but they don't have no problem showing you him holding up a fake gun at 16, 17 years old, him sticking up a middle finger at 17 years old. Bro, we all was 16 and 17 years old. If you go back and post some of the pictures that we took at 16 and 17 years old, all of us would be judged. Make it make sense. And in the comment section, I want y'all to let me know, do y'all notice this? Every time something racist happens towards our people, they gaslight us. Oh, this is not racism.
I'm gonna go here. I got another about 13 minutes left, right? I want to go here real quick. I want y'all to see this article here, right? I got two articles, right? You have this man here, right? This man, now we got 78 people in the room. If y'all can, I want y'all to hit that Cash App, support Urban Nerds, so you can go, it's pinned to the top or scroll, and you guys can go. If you got PayPal, you guys can donate through PayPal. It goes straight to our nonprofit Urban Nerds Foundation, so you guys can support. You go over there. We got a lot of things we got coming up this spring, so you guys can go over there and support. But here we go. Hey, Informant Media, is that you, my brother from Oakland? Informant Media, is that my big homie from Oakland? Let me know. All right, so this guy right here, right? His name is Charles Montgomery, right? Charles Montgomery shot and killed an 8-year-old black boy and claims that he was the victim, right? This was back in 2022. On May 28, 2022, a black boy was shot for no reason. The next day, he was pronounced dead. 8-year-old Aquarius Dunham was headed on vacation with his family when his parents' worst nightmare became a reality. So this man right here, right, he claimed that he was off his meds or he went crazy, but he claimed that he was the victim, right? The Durham family was driving in South Carolina when Charles Montgomery, a 40-year-old white man, began shooting at cars as they passed by his home on Old River Road. After being shot in the neck by Montgomery, Aquarius was rushed to a hospital where he remained in critical condition, right? The following day, he was removed from life support and passed away. Matthew Dunham, his father, was shot in the leg but was suspected to make a full recovery. Takali Dunham, the mother, was also in the car. She sustained no injuries, right? The shooter, well known to the community. Montgomery's motives behind the shootings remain unknown, but Florence County Sheriff's Detective T.J. Joe told the news that Montgomery was likely under the influence of narcotics. According to the Associated Press report, Montgomery had a history with police as they knew he was a dangerous man, right? So now he was dangerous, but he took his dangerous to go unalive a black boy, right? Montgomery's bond hearing claims to be the victim. Montgomery was arrested and charged with 1 count of murder, 9 counts of attempted murder, releasing a firearm in a busy vehicle, right, and possession of a weapon. Montgomery told the judge that he is the victim at the bond hearing. Can I say that I have been a victim here well over 2 years, ever since I have been hacked, every device. So he's talking about his cell phones, but he was talking about a bunch of different things as to why he was the victim, right? But these are things that go on in this country, right? These are incidents. Now, these are incidents that, I can't even show their faces. That's going to make me cry. But these are incidents that go on in this country, right? That's for years that's happened, right? But I'm pressed for time, so I'm gonna move to this next one, right? You had this boy here. Hold on. You had this, a 13-year-old boy was killed. Will stand your ground, protect the shooter, right? This was in 2000. See your screen shit. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me, right? Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me. Right? 13-year-old boy was killed. Prosecutors, now listen, right? Prosecutors dismissed murder charges against Craig Allen, 36-year-old white, after he claimed he acted in self-defense, right? So he killed this little boy. Okay, cool. So he killed this little boy. So we have a whole. Oh, that's you. Hold on, I gotta give you a wrench. I didn't know that was you. Hold on. I gotta give my brother a wrench. I wanted to make sure that was you. All right, there we go. So let's go back, right? A white man is accused of killing a 13-year-old boy in Columbus, Ohio, has roamed free for nearly 90 days after prosecutors dismissed murder charges against him, prompting the boy's family to demand officials provide an explanation and put him back behind bars. Police say Craig Allen Butler claimed he fired a gun in self-defense during October 12th encounter that killed Sinze Reed, but have given no information on why the 36-year-old man felt threatened. Right? So he killed this little boy in cold blood, right? He killed this little boy in cold blood. All right, that's cool. He killed the little boy in cold blood, and walked the streets for like 90 days, right? It wasn't nothing that was put in the media. So I'm showing the discrepancies and the hypocrisies of things that they do, right? Right? Butler was released October 19, 6 days after his arrest, without an ankle monitoring bracelet or restrictions. The fact that this man is able to walk around the city of Columbus as if nothing has happened is ridiculous, said Columbus-based activist Rodney Roman Obey. It's ridiculous. It's coming to this. This is what that we can't see any form of justice or even get the reason why they went this route. I meant the public outcry last week. They're saying they're continuing to investigate the incident and awaiting key forensic and ballistic evidence. The completed investigation will be submitted to prosecutors who can decide whether to submit the case to a grand jury, police said. So look at all the stuff that we got to do in order to get something. Now, he gunned down a 13-year-old boy and was just walking down the street. But look at the way the media handled the situation with Karmelo Anthony. So these are the things. Question. Man, we look, my brother Khalil, I only want to get into all that right now. Like, listen, y'all, we got to be on code, right or wrong, weak or strong. Let the law question that. We ain't on that right now. Because I could dispel what you're saying right now real fast. If that white boy had that knife and he used it and it was a bunch of black people, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying now and they wouldn't be saying it. Right? So let's just stop all the foolishness, all the shenanigans. They'll be because we're looked at as violent people. We're looked at as violent, and we're always portrayed that way. We commit all the crimes in the country. We do all these bad things, right? And this is the way that we're portrayed. So no, right? It's Texas, as the guy said. They carry all kinds of stuff down there. Had they would have not approached him, and messed with him, that knife would have been irrelevant because it would have been still in his bag. It would have never came out the bag. Right? It would have never exited his bag. Right? And that's all I'm saying. So this guy right here, Sensei was pronounced dead. So it says that Sensei and Butler were neighbors in the Westmont apartments where the fatal shooting occurred. But the two were strangers, according to the representatives of Sensei's family. An eyewitness who knows Butler told police that they saw him exit a red truck with a handgun and fire bullets that struck Sensei multiple times before Butler fled the scene. Sensei was pronounced dead less than an hour later. Sensei's family, including 9 brothers and sisters, held a memorial service for him in October. Zay, as he was affectionately called, loved to play video games, hang out with friends, and listen to music. Butler was originally charged with murder as well as violating the terms of his parole for domestic violence case, to which he pleaded guilty and served 30 days. Federal law prohibits those convicted of domestic violence of possessing a firearm. But Butler was not charged with criminal possession of a weapon. Nothing. He smoked the little boy, had a felony, had a firearm, and they still let him out. The tables turned when Franklin County Prosecutor Attorney's Office reviewed the police investigation and saw that Butler, who was 6'3", 200 pounds, claimed self-defense. In a statement, Franklin prosecuting attorney Gary Tyack said it's standard police practice in almost every felony case, right, in the midst of to be dismissed because the court has limited jurisdiction over those cases. Did you hear what they just said? It was standard practice for them to dismiss a murder because they had too many cases. But the prosecutor's office did not respond to further whatever, right? I got to get out of here in a couple minutes, so I'm gonna come back to this. They get to the Tamir Rice, so I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna talk for a minute because I gotta go. Right? Hold on. I'm gonna say this to the people that's watching, and I want y'all to understand something, right? We can create programs, we can do the things that we need to do for our people, but if you say that you FBA, you have to be FBA all the way, right or wrong, weak or strong. You have to be down for your people, right? You have to be down for your people. We want to replace this system with a system of justice. Understand something. If you guys get in trouble in your respective cities and you have to go and stand in front of a judge as a black person, You have no way of knowing that that person have a preconceived notion about you. You have no way of knowing that that person is racist, right? You have nothing to protect you, right? We have to go to the same people for justice, to render justice, the same people that we know historically has oppressed us. So our same historical oppressors, we have to go to those same people to get justice. And they're saying, hey, this is the truth, right? The judicial systems, the corporate structures, all these things was always set in place, right? And we have to go to these same people to get justice. And the proof of it is when a situation happened, look at the way the media behaved, to the point where this family had to hire a PR team in 2025 because we're not in this racial utopia where everybody see each other as equals. They have never made right with the things that that's wrong. So you can't expect us to be in a racial utopia. A lot of these raccoons out here running, the conservative raccoons, a lot of them know that what I'm saying is the truth. A lot of them, but being black hurts in this country. So they rather surrender their blackness and run over there with them. And I always ask, outside of so-called nigger culture and white culture, what is the identity of a black man and woman in America? I give y'all the scenario of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When you see Carlton, right? And I want y'all to listen to me. Put your thinking caps on. I want y'all to listen to George. Listen to me with your spirit. I want y'all to hear what I'm telling you. When you watch the PSYOP show of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, his parents came up from the struggle and they worked their behind off. Right? To become the best versions of themselves. The father became the judge. The mother was a professional. They lived in a big mansion, right? And they came from poverty. But the children didn't have any sense of blackness. Carlton had no black friends. He knew nothing of blackness. He knew nothing of his culture. No understanding of who Fannie Lou Hamer was or the struggles of his father, right? And when I talk this way, the number's going down. But those that got the spirit to listen, I want y'all to listen to me. When you saw Will was an idiot portrayed with no idea of blackness that never took life serious. They sent him out of his community to go up there to make a better life because a civilized Negro is a better Negro, right? So outside of Carlton and Will, show me the black identity. What is the black experience? What is blackness? Because Carlton ain't the way. Will ain't the way. So what is the identity? Because they portraying Carlton a certain way, but Carlton has no reference of what it is to be in the culture. And Will is an idiot that don't take life serious. So where does the black man and black woman fit in that scenario? So you have your conservatives and then you have your N-word culture. But then you have black people in the middle trying to figure it out every day. Right. Uncle Phil had to come set things straight. So they use these psyops to play with your brain, man. And I be trying to educate our people. So I'm telling y'all as I go, stand 10 toes down, stay on code, don't compromise yourself for little trinkets here and there. Don't be online participating in the gender war. Don't be doing none of that kind of stuff, man. Love your people, right or wrong, weak or strong, man. Those that want to indulge in N-word culture, love them from a distance. Tell them I love you like a play cousin, but I can't be near you. Until you change from your wicked ways, I can't deal with you, right? So remember, I love my people more than they hate themselves, and I pray to the universal creator Most High that these words are enough to inspire you. These words are enough to make you look at yourself in the mirror and make change. These words are enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I hope that when you came here for information, and when you leave here greater than what you was before you came. You leave here edified. I hope that you share this information on all the social media mechanisms that we use to get the message across. It's time that we have a conversation. We are under attack. We are under enemy lines. It's time that we wake up our people, and we found out that we have no friends. The things that I've been preaching and teaching and talking for years, things is coming to fruition. God is finally shining sunlight, and people are starting to open their eyes and understand, and understand what we've been talking about. Because all we got is us. We ain't got no friends, right? And we got to stand 10 toes down. It's up to us, right? Because you see what they're doing to us. So I'm not hate. This ain't hate speech. I don't hate anybody. I want a system of justice. But I'll say this in closing. If you say that I'm a hater, or if you say that I'm espousing hate, then maybe I'm the hate that hate produced. Peace.